Hello everybody, and welcome to the Rebooted Reviews. Today, I will be going over set number 70794, Skull Scorpio. The set contains 107 pieces and retails for about $14.99 in the United States. This price will vary based on your region, country, store, etc. Skull Scorpio features a color scheme consisting of silver, translucent neon greenish yellow, with a few highlights of translucent neon reddish orange, and a bit of gunmetal and some black. Now this color scheme is broken in some places by red axle, blue pin, and a blue rubber band. There is a few hidden blue pins underneath his ribcage, which are visible on his underbelly. There are also these two random gray pieces, I'm pretty sure you can see, in light gray. And he just dropped POWAAH's mask, but we'll get to all that later. Now the build is quite interesting. The tail is kind of unsightly and strange, but it's all very effective when it is used for the function. The legs have no articulation whatsoever. They're just pieces from Hero Factory and Vision from below, and I guess you could interpret the trans orange that breaks up the color scheme as being Kulta's power in Skull Scorpio, as well as the eye stalk color. Now, he does feature many points of articulation. He features 2 in his neck, 3 in his arms, 1, sorta 2, and sorta 4 in his tail, although these two and these two move at pretty much the same time, but you can angle the tail like this or like that. I just broke it. But you gotta be kind of careful about when you go about maneuvering the tail for any angle when you want to use the function. Now, Skull Scorpio is quite obviously a scorpion, or at least slightly intended to be. He doesn't have exactly a scorpion tail, or 8 legs, again, like Lost. But he is definitely a much better set than Lost, in my opinion, just because of his overall design and quite a lot more posing than Lost, due to having a much more articulated head, very expressive arms, and this tail, which you can kinda pose. The legs are extremely good for balance, however, and I find he rarely falls over. You can pose the tail in any sort of way. I do remember the New York Toy Fair pictures showing that there was a little support back here holding him up, but that's not necessary at all. Guess the Toy Fair people were just kinda worried. I think that's about it for that. Let's move on to those new molds and recolors. Of course, this set features many recolors and new pieces. So first off, like every single gosh darn set in the wave, there's a silver slim shoulder torso, and eye stalk in translucent neon reddish orange, 2 of these bone pieces in transparent neon greenish yellow. Now, if you want a bunch of these, there's the Ninjago set from its Summer Wave, 4 of these things, but this set only has 2. And finally, the Drained Golden Mask of Stone. Now, mine has a lot of translucent neon greenish yellow and just a little bit of gold, but your color ratios might be different. Now on to new molds. This set features a mere 3 of these bone pieces. Terribly sorry guys, there's actually 4 bone pieces in this set. Sorry about that, everybody. Next up there is the tail pieces, which were also used in Skull Basher. There is a ribcage piece in translucent neon greenish yellow. And finally, the exact same mask as we got in Skull Basher in the exact same color. It's scaled pretty well to POWAAH's Mask of Stone. as they're both relatively small masks. Now that that's over with, let's get on with the review. Now that we're done with that, let's take a look at Skull Scorpio's functions. First function is you take this beam right here, and you press down, and the two ends of the tail snap together. And they do it pretty effectively. Occasionally, if you do it slowly, they won't come together, but mine seems to be extremely snappy. I quite like this function. It's really, really fun, although it does make a lot of noise. This is where a majority of the parts goes into, I'd say, aside from constructing the torso. Now, of course, you're supposed to be able to use this function to grab POWAAH's mask. Now, I need to move the camera up just a little bit so you can see good old tense POWAAH. Now, he can't really reach POWAAH, and it is kind of difficult to grab that mask. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, it doesn't work too well. It just messed up POWAAH's pose, too. It doesn't work well by any means, but I guess it kind of works. When you try and pull off his mask, the tail might come apart. It's actually happening right now. And it's really difficult to do this, and it's not working. What would be more practical would be to just grab POWAAH with the tail, fling him away, and then use the claws to pull off the mask. And then he can drain the mask's power by putting it on. Speaking of the mask, it kind of suits him because mine is more translucent than it is gold. You can see the eye stalk, and that's kind of cool. And it definitely fits his color scheme, especially considering gold is closer to yellow than any of the other translucent colors. So I quite like it. The gold fits more with him. And, of course, considering how much trans is in this mask, the mask fits a whole lot better. POWAAH can, of course, reclaim his mask by launching it off by hitting the eye stalk. Another function is you can combine Skull Scorpio with Mask Maker vs. Skull Grinder 70792 to create a more souped up version of Kulta. But we'll get to that later. Like or dislike, comment with some constructive criticism, and why not subscribe if you liked this review. And please be sure to stick around for more reviews and some skits with Bionicle sets and occasionally Hero Factory. Join me next time when I go over Mask Maker vs. Skull Grinder. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.